brought to you by Ford and your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. It is Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones.
Let's try to make this one work. Sounds good. Merry Christmas. And I forget your last question, really.
That last question was how often do you go Christmas shopping, and what are you responsible for?
Well, first of all, I feel responsible for all of it. Of course, I'm really not. But I do a lot of personal Christmas shopping, and I do a lot of ordering, and I get a little help on my ordering from a few people that work in close with me. But I love Christmas and love to shop for it. And I particularly like to work in and around our Dallas Cowboys memorabilia, and really makes it good. One of the things that I was talking to my family last night is that we have given Christmas ornaments to every NFL owner and to a lot of the media. We have given Christmas ornaments for 33 years.
Wow.
And we have people that have complete trees. John Madden's family has a complete tree of the Christmas ornaments, and these are cerebellum ornaments that really have a uniqueness about them and that tell a story. It's oriented around sport and football, but we have people that have a whole tree full of our Christmas ornaments. And, of course, each of my family members has a comparable tree that they've built up over the years. So we're pretty proud. I've had other owners tell me, said, Jerry, the only goodwill you have in this league is that Christmas ornament. And if it wasn't for that, you'd run me out of here.
All right. Was there ever an owner that maybe got a Christmas ornament that wasn't as good just because they made
I've
mad?
never had a complaint. Like I said, they know the spirit's there and the heart's there.
Well, we were just talking about the explosive play nature of the Miami Dolphins. People know that y'all and the Dolphins are 1-2 when it comes to scoring offense, but the Dolphins have shown the ability to pile up those explosive plays. How important is it going to be to try to slow that down Sunday?
Well, those plays over 20 yards of play are essential to win a game. We had none of them against Buffalo, and they're essential to win a game, and you really need to have upwards of 6 or up of those to really, at the end of the day, when you look at your performance, to have. And you need turnovers, and all of that is a major part of it. They are a dangerous team. They arguably will be or right there at the best that we'll play, period. Buffalo was a dangerous team and a potentially very good team. And so these two games, the Buffalo game and this game against Miami, these are really nut cutters, to use a Christmas term. And, so I'm saying that we've got to bring it all. The idea that we're coming off a bad performance against Buffalo, all of that is really you put that behind you, because this thing stands on its own as one of the premier games of our year.
You talked about Buffalo and Miami being dangerous teams. I think I know the answer from watching this team all year, but do you think the Dallas Cowboys are a dangerous team?
Well, I think we can be, yes. And I think we should be able to pick our poison and pick the poison and have a lot to do with it. I think we can dictate the game on our defense. I think we can dictate the game on offense. We're very capable of doing that. And that's what's exciting about this year. We line up, and, boy, we can do it to anybody. And but as you well know, in the NFL, you get down a couple, you have to change a few things you're doing because you don't want to go down 2 scores or 3 scores, and all of a sudden you've adjusted what you have worked on all week, and that becomes a challenge, not an insurmountable challenge, but you've got to make those adjustments, and that can go the other way on you. It did the other day. In between all of that, you can't be really making mistakes. And when you do get a big play, you can't offset it with a penalty on that particular play. Timing was also bad for us the other day on some key penalties. I complained about the penalties. And frankly, someone said that I complained about the weather. And, of course, that's not right. They played in the same weather. But weather can affect both sides' efficiency on offense. It can. And we don't have that problem at our stadium. To add to another part of my answer, we don't have the weather problem at the stadium, and that gets you more consistent for the Cowboys when we play there. But everybody's got to play in the same weather when they're out there, and they have to take things off the table. They did a great job. They got up on us good. They got their momentum rolling. All of those things. I'm talking Buffalo. But, boy, this week we can't have that happen. And this quarterback, to me, is one of the more outstanding players in the NFL. We will have played back-to-back two of the better quarterbacks of a handful there are in the NFL.
Jerry, just to go back and revisit real quick the Buffalo game, when it comes to tackling, how do you explain an entire team having a bad day all at the same time?
Well, I do not, other than we call that finishing. But you can call it wrapping up. You can call it intensity, driving through the tackle. But I will tell you, there is a level that we talk about that of play that affects an entire team that is called playoff level. And it's very real. And the intensity and the meaningfulness of a play, we call it that you rise to when you play in big games. That's part of the sport. And whether it be a huge bowl game for a college team, or whether it be a great rivalry for a college team, there's an intense level that is just there. This is a physical sport. And you got to think while you're being physical. That level goes up at the level of certain games. And we didn't get that level the other night. That's surprising, but I have seen it happen. And we've obviously, I don't think we'll have any problem. I say this. We won't have any problem getting at a championship level this weekend. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's a couple of people that we've talked to, former players we've talked to, are like, there's an attitude you have to have going on the road. We're coming in, we're putting our feet on your table. Michael Irvin used to have that kind of attitude.
Going on the road, staying at home, that has one meaning for a season. Because in our case, you're dealing with about 8 on the road, 9 at home, vice versa. That's one thing. But this is a go-home mentality, which you have in the playoffs. Lose on the road, it doesn't make any difference. Season's over. And everybody gets that. And that tackle, you don't get another grade, another film next 2 weeks from now for doing that on an individual basis. My point is, this game has to be played on a lose this, make that bad play, make that mistake. It's go home city for good. That's what happens in the playoff. This game has to be played with playoff intensity. And it should. It's got that kind of stuff riding.
Yep.
Will you still be able to bring the same level of playoff intensity if Tyron Smith and or Zack Martin can't go? How are they looking for Sunday?
Well, you have to. You have to. There's no way to have a football team and not have. Now, you look at the positions, and some of them are more impactful than others. But you have to move on. We had to move on when we lost Martin the other day. So you have to be ready to go. That's why your depth, when it comes to overall impacting being able to win for a team and compete it and maybe aspire and be a Super Bowl, you got to have depth. You got to have people step in. They're never going to be the perfect pictured performance of a Smith or a Martin. They're never going to be that, but they do surprise you because guess what? More often than not, they'll step up and they'll have a better game than they're capable of. That's a part of their growth because usually depth is, for the most part, aspiring youth.
Do you believe it is trending in the direction where Tyron and Zack Martin are unlikely to play on Sunday then?
No, I just don't know, and we won't know until it gets here. We've got a few days to go, and I just couldn't say. And Martin was, let me tell you something, for him to step out of that ball game is it tells you all you need to know about the severity of his pain or injury, or more important, strength in his case in the leg. The back thing with Tyron is something we'll just have to see about. I don't know, but we've got a game plan that is going to be there without him, and it won't be as pleasing as one with him, but we'll have a game plan.
Jerry, I'm not sure how much you know Mike McDaniel, but he's kind of quirky personality, very creative, kind of a fun guy with his play calling, got a lot of creativity. What's been your impression of him as the head coach from Miami?
I don't know him, and I just know his team, and know his team through just watching competition from afar, if you will, and then, of course, our zeroing in this week. But I think he's maximizing his talent, and that's a compliment. A lot of people talk that, but they don't use it. But I think he takes what his guys do best and puts them in a spot to do it. That at the end of the day, well, they'll tell you that's their job to go do that. But let me say this: he's put a team, has head coached a team that is one of the best teams in the NFL and is a Super Bowl contender in my view.
I know that your defense is very fast. You got a lot of guys that are fast on offense as well, but this Dolphins team is one of the fastest teams in the NFL. How much can you talk about what their speed is and how that affects the game?
Well, there are parts of them that are faster than our defense is faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're having to kind of adjust your cutoff angles. You're having to adjust for speed in terms of getting ready for them. Every player has taken every player in front of him on Miami, every player of the Cowboys, and they've studied him all week. And then the coach has put it together so they can look at it from a team standpoint. But this quarterback, I'm going to tell you, he has a great ability to hit the receivers on the run. He can throw the ball where they will run under to the ball, and he throws them open. And he's outstanding. And it'll give us – that's quite a challenge when you've got somebody that good at being that kind of thrower.
CeeDee Lamb said it's not necessarily on his mind, and given everything that's at stake in the game Sunday and beyond, I get why, but he's just 9 catches away from breaking Michael Irvin's franchise record for most receptions in a season. How impressed – I'm very impressed by that.
Well, I know what Troy Aikman thought of and the confidence that they had going. Their thrower-catcher relationship was one of the – it's maybe unparalleled because they had to pass a rule called the Michael Irvin rule. They passed a rule to mitigate the timing that Michael would have or Aikman would have getting the ball to Michael right on his break. And Michael would go out and kind of subtly down beside his hip punch the D-back on the hip, and then he would be out breaking. And he'd make the break. Well, the minute he broke, there was the ball. And so it was one of the most passing combinations that I know of that also was mentally the mental part of their passing combination. That, along with Aikman's skill of just being able to throw it on a dime every time. So to be talked about in that same sentence and be up there with that, both Lamb and Prescott should smile, because that was a top combination.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Well, Jerry, I'm kind of looking at this, and there's been a lot of discussion about, the game having opened up some eyes on where the linebackers were, the physicality there. At this time, where is Micah's best fit for your team? Is it just to set on the edge and rush, or do you think he can help more at the second level with your linebackers?
Pressure player. Pressure.
Okay.
His greatest attribute to our team is as a pressure player, which means he's trying to get through in a rush of some sort. Does that mean that he can't have containment responsibilities? He is good enough to provide a pressure threat and still maybe roll out and contain. That's strong, and he's capable of doing that. And so that's where you might see a use of him. Make no mistake about it. His value is as a pressure player.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on with us every single week. Best of luck on Sunday. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jerry.
Thank you very much, sir.
Merry Christmas, guys. Bye.